What's up, everybody? This is Around the Boards. We got a good one for you guys today. This is episode 6. We're going to be talking about the new rules for the new season. We got your game recaps. We're going to be talking about the Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to be talking about the hat tricks around the NHL. And we're also going to be talking about Alex Ovechkin and how this dude is basically a robot. So let's get into it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Around the Board.
What's up, everybody? This is Around the Boards, back at it again with another episode for you guys today. I am joined here with my good friends Rob and Dylan. Say hello, fellas.
Hi.
Hey.
I want to still dunk Thunder.
All right, so there's a couple of new rules that everybody should be aware about here for this season. One is the challenging of offsides. Now, if you remember last year, whenever a coach were to challenge an offsides, if they were to lose, they would lose their timeout. And that's it. That's it. This year now, you will lose your timeout as well as being a man down now. So you will get called for a penalty if you lose that challenge. What do you guys think about that? Because, I mean, there was a lot going on last year. Challenges. I think they said there was 100 and something challenges last year total. And only like 30 something of them got called back. So do you think a delayed game penalty is a good idea for the coach's challenge? So, it's doesn't take up, so that they basically get, disciplined for taking up that much time. What do you guys think?
What was the question again?
How do we feel about that being a penalty?
Yeah.
Go for it, Dunk.
I think it's fine. I personally don't like challenges in hockey. I think it slows down the game anyway, so I feel like you should be penalized for it. Most of the time on offsides plays and things like that, the refs make the right call. Goals,
is what they get paid to do.
Yeah, it's what they get paid to do. Goals and things like that. The refs. I think refs in hockey are some of the better refs in sports. I think they make the right call most of the time.
Yeah,
unlike the NFL where they get everything wrong.
They're more professional.
Yeah, and hockey's probably arguably one of the harder sports to referee for because it's constant and they're not moving. Or
Yep.
they are moving. And my favorite thing about hockey actually is that you can change players without stopping play.
That's an interesting fact.
I like it. I'm a fan of getting penalized for challenging because you
don't want to slow down the game. So.
Yeah, you're ruining the game. You're slowing down the game. I think it's a good move. I honestly did not know that was a thing until about 3 seconds ago when Des mentioned it. So I'm a fan of it.
Brought it up.
Yeah, it's the good thing you brought it up because I didn't know that was a thing. So
cool.
I don't know. I think most of the time when coaches challenge offsides that lead to goals, most of the time I would say it's in the third period where it's a lead change or something like that where they're now losing by 1 with like 5 minutes left. So why not challenge it and hope that they're offsides evenally? Right. So
yeah, they do it. Just try to pull one over on the other team.
Yeah.
There's no integrity to it.
Unless it's like an obvious one, then they'll probably get overturned anyways. So
yep.
I mean, it's not really a big deal. I don't think it shouldn't have too much effect on it.
No. Cool. So that's one of them. Next one, I think is a big one, is the no timeouts after icing. So when that team ices the puck, you are not allowed to call a timeout if you're the team that has iced the puck. Mm-hmm. What's your guys' take on that? I mean, I think it's a great rule because it's definitely going to add, I think, some more scoring opportunities because those guys are going to be tired out there. You're not allowed to use your timeout. That team's changing lines, and you're stuck with that same line on the ice. I think it's going to be interesting.
I am fully supportive of this. I feel like that's the reason there is icing is so you get penalized already for doing that. If you're allowed to
making a legitimate hockey play,
if you're allowed to take a timeout, then you might as well ice it every single time you have the puck. Like I know you
only get one timeout. Again.
You only have a certain amount of penalties or timeouts. I understand, but like I'm fully supportive of this, and I'm on board with it. So I knew about that one before we had this conversation. And
wow! Congratulations.
I've done my research, so I'm supportive of it. I like it.
Yeah,
Rob,
I think
what do you think?
I think the NHL is just trying to do anything they can to generate more goals, and that's one of the ways is keep the tired players on the ice, I think there's going to be a lot more strategy now when it comes to coaching. If you have the puck in your zone, they're going to try to lob it out or something or put it on net. Something where they clear the puck down the ice but still don't get the icing call.
Yep.
So,
yeah. And speaking of and speaking of the NHL trying to generate more goals, one of the next.
We're not going to talk about the face-off penalties that are going on.
One of the next
fuck that rule.
rules is I mean, they're going back to when they really brought this down, cracked down on it on 2005-2006 season, and that is those slashing calls, man. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys have seen it, but these guys are barely tapping the other player's hands, and these refs are on that. And like Rob was saying, trying to generate more scoring opportunities for those teams. I think it's weak. I'm totally not a fan of that one. I think that's totally weak. You know, hockey is a tough man sport, if you will, and I'm just not a fan. What do you think about that one, Rob?
I don't think we're going to go another 5 minutes without you saying something about Sidney Crosby. That's what I think.
I was watching. I don't remember what game it was, but it was a couple days ago, and one of the players hooked another player, and then they called the slashing penalty. Like, he didn't even slash him; he just like put his stick around his arm.
Yeah.
And the slashing penalty.
But so they're kind of combining them too, where if you put your stick on the other guy's gloves, it's an automatic penalty. You don't really need to give a name for the penalty. Just say it's a penalty.
Yeah, stick infraction or something. But like I think that the stick is a part of the game, and I think it should kind of be used. But I don't think you should be hacking and slashing at somebody's, wrists and hands. But I think that you should be able to kind of use your stick to try and slow them down a little bit. There's a fine line, I think, and that's where the penalties get kind of weird. Is that fine line?
I think it's just from players abusing it and just always going to the hands or something like that, or
like Sidney Crosby chucking off people's fingers and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's still not a penalty.
Did you watch hockey 50 years ago when they would literally like double hand, like
water skiing behind them, man? Oh yeah, totally.
I don't know.
Totally.
Yeah. I don't know. Game changes over time.
Yeah.
I also think that if you should, if you need to hook or slash a guy, I think you should probably skate faster and skate harder and keep up with him. So it's a lazy penalty.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. So last but not least, one of the other ones is the high sticking against a power play team. So if a team that's on the power play gets called for a high stick and
playing the puck with a high stick.
Exactly. For playing the puck with a high stick. The play is blown dead, obviously, but now the face-off's coming back into their defensive zone, the team that's on the power play. The face-off's now going back to their defensive zone to try to give the team shorthanded more scoring opportunities. Again, going back to what Rob said, having more scoring opportunities here in the NHL. Here's another new rule. What's your guys' take on
Wait,
that?
I don't fully understand the one. So
Des made that really confusing. Do you want me to explain it?
So hold on. So let me just try to hold on. So if you're on the power play and you high stick, so if you try to deflect a puck or whatever, then the puck's going all the way down into your own zone, basically.
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
If you play the puck with a high stick, yeah.
Right.
That's all. I don't know. That's
right.
I don't really care about that one.
No. I mean, I don't care.
I feel like that happens very rarely, so shouldn't have too much effect on the season.
Yeah, players are so good at their sticks now anyways. It's going to happen like once every 10 games. Like
Sure.
Or do you think now that somebody's going to play the puck with a high stick and they're not going to call it, and then the team on the penalty kill will challenge it?
I think it's going to go, it's going to be, or they have more reason to challenge it, and it's,
But then they don't get a penalty because they're not challenging the offsides, they're challenging a high stick?
Yeah, but also
Very
I feel
confusing.
like we're seeing less and less of front of the net play, people screening the goalie and stuff now. Though it's
more wide open.
That's kind of a dying art now.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's because all those big guys are no longer in the league because they can't.
Shout out Dustin Penner.
They can't keep up with the fast guys like McDavid and all those guys, so there's no room for them in the league anymore. So
and that leads to the hack and slash penalties.
And they make their money in the corners, and now they play defense.
All right, so now moving on, we have the game recap. So let's get right into that.
Let's talk about the Rangers.
No. Before we talk about our team,
What about the face-off penalties? I mean, I feel like we should at least mention it. Like
it's basically when one guy gets thrown out of the face-off circle. So like the second guy in has to be careful not to get a jump start on the face-off.
So basically, the second guy in has to like just lose the
face-off.
Yeah, right. But what's funny is I haven't even seen that. Like a lot of those second guys in have been winning those face-offs. I've noticed. I've been keeping an eye on that.
They called it a lot in the Red Wings preseason games, but
yeah,
the Red Wings have been cheating on Red Wings have been cheating on face-offs for years. So
kind of like Sidney Crosby, but
yeah. So any good center in the league will tell you they cheat on face-offs all the time.
Yeah,
except for Jared Stoll. Shout out Jared Stoll.
Yeah.
So let's get into some game recaps real quick.
And Patrick Kane.
So let's get into some game recaps real quick here. Like I was saying, before we talk about our team.
You want to talk about the Penguins?
No, I freaking hate the Penguins. I want to talk about the Chicago Blackhawks opening night.
Against the Penguins, yes.
I know you're not a fan of this one, Dylan, because you're not a fan of the Blackhawks, so you don't have to talk much. But,
well, you don't think I like I don't
no,
like the Penguins either.
I mean, I just want to say that was something else, man. The Blackhawks beat the snot out of the Penguins 10-1. 10-1. And here's the Penguins, last year's Stanley Cup champions getting smacked. I understand. I know it's the first game of the season. I know there's still 80 something games left to play and all that, but I just enjoyed every moment of that because how much I dislike the Penguins. So that's all I wanted to say about that game. So talking about our games now.
Are we not going to get to provide insight on that?
Nope. We don't get to.
I just
moving on.
I just wanted to mention it.
All right.
Because it was sick.
Thick.
So
when the Rangers are scoring 10 times in the next 3 weeks, can we talk about that too?
Good one. So we're gonna get
a question.
Nah.
Can we talk about the Rangers now?
We can talk about the Rangers. I was just going to get into it and saying how as of right now on this Monday night, you have the LA Kings that are currently
undefeated
2-0, like the Vegas Golden Knights are also undefeated at 2-0.
And the Red Wings.
And you have the Red Wings that are not undefeated. I mean, they are undefeated, 2-0. And then, so now, like I was saying, you got the Kings that are 2-0, you got the Red Wings that are also 2-0, and now you got the Rangers that are 1-2.
What?
What team do you guys want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the Rangers.
Let's get the Rangers out of the way now.
All right. So they have had a rough start to the beginning of this season. Yes, it is the beginning of the season. It's only 3 games played so far for them.
Sounds like
but I mean,
spoken like a true Rangers fan.
It's the beginning of the season, so
But when the Penguins lose,
it is what it is.
Let's jump all over them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. But no, I mean, the Rangers sucked the first 2 games. I mean,
why'd they suck, Des? Tell us why.
They definitely did not have their legs under them. They were getting beat to all the pucks in the corners.
Was it goaltending?
It was also the goaltending. It was also the defense that was in front of the goaltender. And it was everybody that was out there. It was all 5 players on all 4 lines. And it was pretty terrible to watch those first 2 games. But luckily, the most recent game that they played yesterday, they ended up shutting out Montreal 2-0. And I think that's something that Lundqvist especially needed to get his confidence back after getting blown out and taken out after the first period in the previous game before that. So, I mean, like I said, they had a rough start to the first 2 games. I believe they let in 7 goals in those in those 2 first period.
They let in 5 goals in the first period against the
Right, but it was like 7 total because they let in 3 goals in the first period of the first game of the season.
5 plus 3 is 8.
Yeah, so like it was something like that where
they get off to bad starts, is what you're saying.
Do you think
they totally got off to a bad start?
Do you think Henrik Lundqvist will be a New York Ranger for his whole career?
No. I believe we'll only see either this year or maybe one more year left in him as a Ranger, and then he gets traded away to a team that, say, especially if the Rangers do not go to the Stanley Cup Finals this year or next year, he will definitely get traded because he needs to win a Stanley Cup just for himself because that dude has everything but that on his resume. So
Yeah.
So he's
how
gonna be
how
Go ahead.
how long can you go with international success and then no professional level success before you get tired of it? You know.
yeah, I know.
Team Sweden's good every single time he plays for Team Sweden.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Didn't they just win the?
Yep, they just won the gold
Yeah.
Last year.
Last year, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see.
There's a lot of good players that have never won the Stanley Cup, so I don't know.
And
I
that's
think he wants to win at the Rangers. He doesn't want to win the Stanley Cup with another team.
But when you're the goaltender, you can carry your team to the Stanley Cup.
right.
So it's a little bit
Unless
different than a
Unless
really.
you're Henrik Lundqvist.
It's a little bit different than being a really good left winger, and
Yeah.
he can make or break a team.
Yeah, but I think there's no way that he's going to get traded because if he gets traded, it's not going to be for a team that's contending for a Stanley Cup because they would already have a starting goalie for the rest of the season unless they trade for him like the offseason or something. But if I'm the Rangers, I don't know why you trade Lundqvist for practically nothing because
Yeah, he's old now.
it
So
doesn't make any
should trade him
sense.
5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, they should just let it. If he wants to get traded, they should trade him, but let him decide what he wants to do. They shouldn't do it just to please him.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
Unless he actually requests to be traded to a Stanley Cup team and that a Stanley Cup team wants him.
Absolutely. So going back here, so the Rangers played the Avalanche the first game where the Avalanche beat them 4-2, and that's very unfortunate because they were one of the worst teams ever.
And they beat the much improved New York Rangers.
Yeah, right. So one good thing to take away out of that game is the Rangers ended up having 2 power play goals. It was unfortunately the only 2 goals they scored in that game, but they ended up having 2 power play goals, and that's coming from a power play that was absolutely nothing for the past as long as I can remember. Since I started watching hockey like 15 years ago, so
15 days ago.
It was very exciting to at least see the power play come up, and that's also
Actually be a power play.
right, and that's and I believe that has a lot to do with grabbing Kevin Shattenkirk.
Shady Kirk.
And because he had a couple good feeds to Zibanejad, and Zibanejad just put those home. So Zibanejad was the only scorer in that Avalanche Rangers game with his 2 goals. Then they had their next game this past Saturday, and they played the Maple Leafs, where they got blown out of the water 8-5.
Oh,
And Kevin Shattenkirk had his first goal as a New York Ranger. And it was
how sweet.
And it was also a power play goal. So
how sweet.
Benajad had his 3rd goal of the season, and that was also a power play goal. Then you got JT Miller had a goal. Believe it or not, freaking Mark Stahl had a goal. I don't know how that happened. And then Matt
should have been a 5-point goal.
Mark Stahl's the new Dan Girardi.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And then Zuccarello also got on the board on that one too. So the Rangers scored 5 goals, but you can usually win a game after scoring 5 goals. But when you let in 8, yeah, definitely not going to happen. So, previous game they had yesterday on Sunday, Rangers.
Only they had Antti Ranta backing them up.
Rangers ended up shutting out the Canadians 2-0.
Wow.
Brady Shea had a goal, and Zibanejad had his 4th goal of the season. He's got 4 goals in 3 games now. So
Zibanejad's their whole offense, is what you're saying.
Pretty much. So that was their their all-around best game that we've seen from them so far this year in the 3rd game of this season.
Rick Nash not showing up per usual.
No, Rick Nash actually had a bunch of scoring opportunities. He's just gotten denied. I mean, Rangers ran into Varlamov, and I'm going to be honest with you. If Colorado did not have Varlamov playing, I think that would have been a completely different game, and the Rangers would have won. Varlamov was hot. I don't know if you guys saw any of the highlights from that, but Varlamov really kept them in the game. Hot. So that's really all about it for the Rangers. What do you have for your LA Kings, Roberto?
Undefeated, defensive-minded, Jonathan Quick back.
Boko Imama
in the Ontario Reign. I have to check up on him. Haven't heard from him recently. But just like what I told you and James Clark and the rest of the haters, Jonathan Quick's back. We're a defensive team. We're going to shut everybody out. I think we've given up 1 goal in 2 games, and we're undefeated. I wish we had a goalie problem like the New York Rangers. Just kidding.
Jonathan Quick is back. I agree. And
Kopitar had 2 goals.
I watched the first game
with a shutout. Opening night shutout. Yeah, that's how you start a season.
Quick is back.
Quick is back, and Kopitar's back to scoring goals. And I don't know, defense is clicking under new head coach John Stevens. So Jake Muzzin had a bad giveaway for the only goal against Quick, but after
he had a goal though too.
Yeah, but after his turnover, he kind of quit messing around and shut it down. Started playing lights out defense.
And Jake Muzzin has the potential to be a pretty underrated defenseman in the NHL. So
I mean, he made Team Canada, so
yeah,
in the Olympic or the World Cup. So I mean, if you're making Team Canada's stacked.
Yeah, I don't know if underrated is the right word, but I think he might be overlooked, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many good players in Canada. And even Team Canada, even if you're scratch, you still made the team. You're one of the
there's plenty of good defensemen in the Western Conference alone too. So
there's plenty of good defensemen on this team, like Drew Norris Doughty.
Yeah.
But that's all I got to say. Is it exactly happened as I told you? So we'll see the Kings knock out the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Go ahead, Doug. Take over for the Red Wings in the pizza power play.
I don't have much to say about the Red Wings or much
except
to say
for that arena is hot.
Their arena is check it out. Check it out if you can. That arena is hot and ready. Some positives that I've taken away. Jimmy Howard playing good, which is weird. He's got a 9.96 something per goal, or whatever goals save percentage. That's what I'm looking for, which is the highest he's had in a long time. Our power play is finally playing good, and it's only been 2 games, but our power play is at 22% or something, I think. Penalty kill's been perfect so far, which a penalty kill killed us last year. So do I think what?
Do you think Jimmy Howard's playing mad this season because he knows that Mrazek's right behind him, ready to take over as soon as he slips up?
I think so.
And now he realizes it, so he's trying to take back the team.
I think so. Rookie, well, not really a rookie, but younger player, Martin Frk, F-R-K, Martin Frk.
I was wondering how you pronounce that name. Yeah. I was going to ask you that, actually.
Martin Frk, he's playing really good.
Can I buy a vowel, please?
He's playing on the line with Dylan Larkin and Anthony Mantha, which those are both pretty good players too.
That's a young line.
Yeah, it's a young, fast, and a big line too. So.
Yeah, that's how you build your team for the future.
Yeah.
Get a good core.
And then some of the negatives that I've had are lacking in shots on goal, but that might just be trying for better scoring chances instead of
looking for the pretty play.
Looking for the pretty play, which when you have young players, that's kind of what they try to do.
Yeah.
And other than that, Trevor Daley's playing good. And Jonathan Eriksson, once again, proving that he's the worst defenseman in the NHL.
With Mark Saar and Dan Girardi giving a good run for his money.
Yeah, skating on the first pairing and then going all the way down to the third pairing in the second game they played. He's playing absolutely horrible. He had a turnover that almost cost us the game against Ottawa in overtime the other night. So, but I know he's just wasting time until Cronwall can maybe come back from his copious amounts of injuries. So, the only thing that might test the Red Wings is that they've got a lot of road games coming up. So one of their next road games is actually against the Vegas Golden Knights on Friday the 13th.
Ooh, creepy.
But they've got a pretty tough challenge coming up. They've got Dallas tomorrow night, and then they've got Arizona, but nobody cares about Arizona.
Does.
And then Vegas, nobody cares about Vegas yet.
Does.
And Tampa Bay, nobody cares about Tampa Bay yet, but then they have Toronto, Washington, all in the span of a couple weeks. So pretty tough test. So they might get themselves into a hole pretty early, but we'll see. I wish I could go to that Vegas Golden Knights Red Wings game, but
It's a battle of the undefeated teams as we speak right now. Who do you think takes it?
Well, Red Wings have to play Dallas tomorrow night, so I'm not sure if they'll be undefeated by the time they get
Well,
there.
I said that as we speak right now.
Red Wings, I think, to be honest. Just not because I'm biased, just because I think that
That they're a better team.
The Red Wings are a better team. I think. I think they're a better team. They have more depth. I mean, you've probably heard of more of the Red Wings players than you have of the Golden Knights players. So,
How do you feel about the Golden Knights waiving Calvin Pickard to pick up Malcolm Subban?
who cares about Calvin Pickard?
Well, that was supposed to be their goal of the future, and they just got Marc-Andre Fleury for the first couple of years, and then they waived him to pick up Subban.
I think Subban's gonna become the greatest goalie in NHL history. I think.
Obviously, but
Obviously.
I mean,
Yeah. We'll see.
yeah, I don't know.
I'd like to give a special shout out to our boy Ranger. It's his first birthday. That's just because I saw it on Facebook just now.
And Des has not much to say for the past 10 minutes, so
Yeah.
go ahead and step in here anytime you want, Des.
I was letting you guys go off on your team, so it's all
Let's
good.
see. You
You
guys
can
had
still
a puppy-
ask us questions.
It's all good. Like I said, I'm not. I don't feel like I'm the host. I feel you guys are all equally
You
the
can still
host.
ask us questions. It's
So-
a
Yeah,
conversation.
like I said,
I
do you
mean, I
think
don't-
Henrik Lundqvist will be on the Rangers for his whole career? That's a question. That's how that works.
Nobody asked me about anything about the Kings except how
That's
good they were.
That's because you're pretty confident, Rob. You're pretty confident. LA
Why-
King.
Why wouldn't I be?
17-18 Stanley Cup champion.
I didn't say that.
Do you have any questions about?
They're gonna beat
do you
that.
have any questions about the Red Wings?
I mean, the only concern is obviously with the goaltending that they have. I mean, Jimmy Howard is stepping up his game right now, and like Rob said and you said, that's probably because he knows that Mrazek's right behind him.
But I think that when they're both on their games, I think that's a pretty decent goalie tandem to have.
Oh, absolutely. Very
you know what?
dangerous to
You
have.
know what the old saying is: if you don't have a number one goal, or if you have two number one goalies, you don't really have a number one goalie.
Yep,
That's true too.
Look at like what happened to Chicago and all those. Had two number one goalies with Niemi and Crawford, right?
Yep.
So
Yep. Well, Nami's garbage now, so.
So is Crawford. Crawford's been garbage.
yeah.
But whatever. Everything's great.
I think that dude just gets lucky like 98% of the time.
Who, Crawford?
Yeah.
He just plays in front of a good defense.
Yeah.
I mean, God.
Yeah, you have Duncan Keith, who's arguably one of the best defensemen in the NHL, and then Brent Seabrook and all those guys like
Chalmerson.
Yep.
Chalmerson, and if Patrick Kane, who's willing to beat up anyone at the chance he can get off the ice.
On the ice, he just likes scoring goals.
Yeah.
Speaking of scoring goals, how about those hat tricks?
Woo!
How about those hat tricks in the NHL, man? They
That
had
was a hat trick
four.
anyway.
They had 4 hat tricks in the season openers, and that is pretty.
And then
impressive.
Ovi came back and had another hat trick in the first period.
All right. Like
seven goals in 2 games, I think.
I think he had 6 goals in 2 periods if you count the third period of first game.
He's I read he's
Ridiculous.
the first player, I think, if not in a long time or ever, to have hat tricks in consecutive periods, like
Yep.
third period, first period.
yeah, I think they said since like 1918 or some.
That was the first time somebody scored back-to-back hat tricks, I think is what they said. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, it was pretty impressive between all 4 of them, between Connor McDavid, Brandon Saad, Wayne Simmons, and Alexander Ovechkin.
I don't think there's any really surprise there that
impressive.
David's scoring goals and Ovechkin scoring goals, but can we talk about Wayne Simmons coming out of nowhere, scoring a hat trick?
I mean, it's not really out of nowhere.
No, not really. I don't know. When was the last time Wayne Simmons scored a hat trick?
I don't know, probably a long time ago,
Probably
but
10 years ago when he was on the Kings.
I don't think he had a hat trick on the Kings
Yeah.
because he was a rookie on the Kings.
Right. No, I mean,
I think Wayne Simmons has been in the league 10 years. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I know.
that's insane.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
That's insane.
You're
But no,
old,
it was-
Des.
Thank you. So are you. It was pretty cool to watch, and I mean, I just thought that was really a neat thing that they had happen here. So everyone's just
Kopitar-
everybody's
Kopitar
scoring
almost had a hat
like crazy.
trick.
Almost.
They tried to give it to him for the empty netter. against the Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, McDavid's hat trick, the third goal was an empty netter, though. So, I mean,
Yeah.
No, but I mean, McDavid's fucking taking over games by himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
he is. That dude's speed is out of this, just out of this world. He's so quick.
Him and Draisaitl playing in the same line. Like, is there a faster line in hockey than that?
That's why I told the Golden Knights to sign Draisaitl to a max year when he's restricted free agent, but nobody listened to me.
I don't know if you saw the goal that McDavid and Draisaitl scored when Draisaitl did a spinorama and backhand, no look pass to McDavid, and McDavid just tapped it in. Like,
That was nasty.
Yeah.
It was nasty. Edmonton is going to be one force to be reckoned with.
Is that going to be shades of Gretzky and Curry there in Edmonton?
Yeah, it's going back to like Gretzky era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, the Kings will still knock him out in the playoffs.
It's definitely going to be fun to watch that team this year. So,
and for the next 20 years.
Unless you're a fan of the Pacific Division, then then it's kind of scary to watch.
So yeah, I mean, you got the hat trick stuff, you got the game recaps, the new rules we just talked about. I mean, we could talk about I guess we kind of did scramble off onto the Vegas Knights recently. So, how Rob doesn't think it was really much of a surprise that they started off the season 2-0, even though they had one of the worst teams, I think you just said. But
I mean, they played the Coyotes in the second game. I mean, it was kind of surprising when they beat the Stars because the Stars were supposed to be good, and it was their opening night, and it was opening night for them. But like I said, they're just playing with so much emotion. And I don't know if did you guys watch the first Golden Knights game when they played the Stars?
Yep.
Yeah,
they did like the whole pregame thing for Vegas and stuff like that, and then the Dallas Stars lined up on the blue line with them. So I mean, it was a pretty emotional night. So I think because the Golden Knights have actually really reached out to the community here since they've actually formed their team and had a roster of players. So I think they've kind of taken to the community, and like I said, they're wearing it on their sleeves, playing with all their emotions, with all their feelings, and Fleury just went lights out. So that was kind of surprising. But like I said, when they played the Coyotes, kind of expect them to win that game.
Okay. So obviously we talked about
hashtag Arizona Coyotes are a shitty fucking hockey team.
Obviously we talked about the hat trick that Ovi had. Now Ovi's hat tricks, if you will, none of them are on empty netters, which is pretty impressive alone in itself. The dude is on a freaking tear right now.
Yeah, but they're all one-timers from the face-off.
I'm pretty sure Ovechkin's the best shot in the NHL.
Oh,
probably
totally.
in NHL history, probably. So.
Yeah, maybe.
Totally. I mean, the guy is just.
Sergei Fedorov was pretty good too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Ovechkin's like the definition of pure goal scorer. So.
Oh yeah. And like not only that, but he can hit. Like when he goes to lay, line someone up.
He's a big guy,
dude.
He's big. He's my size. Him and I are the same size, the same height, same weight. Like.
And you're a big guy because this is a podcast and people can't see you. So you have a huge head. But I mean, the rest of your body's pretty big.
He's probably
too.
heavier than me, to be honest.
Well, he's got more muscle than you.
Yeah, he's got more muscle.
A professional athlete, but
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you think he might be playing pissed off too, like I said about Jimmy Howard, because he had that big whole ordeal in the offseason about the Olympics and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And everyone's talking about McDavid and Sidney Crosby, and then
Ovechkin's hello, I'm here.
Yeah,
I think that the Capitals have kind of been going through like a weird rebuilding thing too, like they were
like a half rebuild. Yeah,
and I think that he's kind of had to take a step back, and they were trying to make him into this leader of this team and make him play defensively and pass more, and like they kind of try to
score goals.
Yeah, they kind of like they just need to take the reins off and let him do his thing. That's when he was successful, you know. Like, he scored like 50 goals a season for like a few seasons in a row.
Yeah,
like, they just need to. They're trying to make him into this like
all-around player.
There's no secret that Russian goal scorers have never been good leaders on hockey teams. Like,
what about Datsuk?
Well, Zetterberg is the leader of that team, or was the leader of that team. Datsuk was
captain.
Datsuk was never really a goal scorer either. He could if he wanted to, but
I think Datsuk just might be an exception to the rule. But in general,
but you think Sergei Fedorov and Pavel Bure, and like none of these guys were like leaders. You know, they were just. No knocking them, but they have one job.
They're great hockey players.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They had one job, and that was to score goals.
And they're kind of the type that lead by example, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like they don't really say much or anything like that, but they just go out there and play good hockey.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Everyone respects him.
I think they just need to take the reins off of Ovechkin and just let him go. And if he messes up defensively, like that's what you have defensemen for.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you play him on a line with Nicholas Backstrom and TJ Oshie. Like
right, and but I mean, I don't think. Like I said, Ovechkin can lay someone out when he lines him up, but he's not that good of a defensive player. I mean, haven't you guys seen like
unless he gets pissed off,
right? But like, haven't you guys seen like the one video going around last year on Facebook, and it was captured like when your remote suddenly dies in EA Sports NHL,
and it's just like 5 years ago.
It's just Ovechkin cruising up behind a guy not doing anything.
Yeah, just floating, not legs, just gliding in the back.
Kind of like watching Dez play NHL.
Good one. So
minus the goal scoring.
Oh, I scored every game last night. Anyways, so let's talk about the upcoming schedule here. We can start with the Detroit Red Wings. You got Dallas on Tuesday. You got the Arizona Coyotes on Thursday. And
shitty fucking team.
And then you have a back-to-back from Thursday to Friday, and then you play the Vegas Golden Knights that Friday. Let's start with tomorrow's matchup between Dallas and Detroit. What do you think that outcome is going to be for you guys?
I think Dallas will win.
Yep.
I think Dallas kind of got, I don't know if this is the right word, but like shell-shocked a little bit by the Golden Knights, and they were kind of that whole emotional game kind of set them back a little bit. I think this might be their game where they're going to.
I mean, Bishop also left that game because he got a puck to the face and started bleeding. That was pretty weird.
Yeah,
so.
I think they're gonna come out guns blazing.
Pissed off.
Oh God, that was a bad analogy. Oh God, scratch.
Pissed off.
They're gonna come out pissed off. And I think that the Red Wings are going to kind of have their hands full because of all the talent that's on the first two lines of Dallas. I don't know how you can handle
Sagan,
Ben, Spezza, Radulov, like all these guys. I don't know what. Yeah, and they're
unless you got Marc-Andre Fleury playing goal.
All those guys. I don't know if you like watch them. They're huge. Like all those guys are like the same size as Ovechkin, and they can play. Like. Yeah. Even Radulov.
Except for Radulov, he sucks.
Yeah, yeah, but no, I think the Red Wings will have their hands full.
Yeah.
If we're predicting a score, I'm going to say it's probably going to be 3 or 4-1.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Bishop was playing good too until he got hurt. So
yeah, I think the Red Wings might squeak one by, but I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 goal deficit.
Okay. All right, and then the next one you have is the Thursday matchup.
Oh God, we're gonna go over the whole schedule.
Arizona and Detroit. Obviously,
these two are gonna be quick. Yeah, Red Wings are gonna win that game.
That one should be an automatic gimme there for them.
3-0.
Okay. All right. How about Detroit Vegas?
I think the Wings are gonna win that game too.
Vegas will score though.
Vegas will score. Yeah, I think it'll be a close game. I think it's gonna be maybe 2-1, 1-0, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Vegas will score, but the Red Wings win.
No, if they're gonna go, if it's gonna be Howard tomorrow night, then it'll probably be Mrazek against Arizona, and then probably Howard against Vegas. And I think if Howard plays, I think he'll play good. So
okay. So next for you, Rob, you guys don't have a game till Wednesday. You're going to be playing the Calgary Flames on Wednesday. What do you think that outcome's going to be?
Jaromir Jagr.
I'll just be watching the flow of the whole game, so I don't know. Hockey hair for life.
I heard a really, really good quote the other day saying that Jaromir Jagr is what Gretzky was to Canada, he is to Europe for hockey.
I believe that.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analogy. I think Jaromir
Jagr's or Wayne Gretzky to a country of Canada is what Jaromir Jagr is to a whole continent.
Yeah.
That's pretty weird, but all right.
Yeah.
I heard something like that too.
Yeah, it was on that traveling Jagrs interview. One of the guys was like, Jaromir Jagr is one of the most important players in hockey history, and I thought that was pretty cool. I think
Jagr's got a ton of fans for his whole career, and even here in the States.
Yeah, I love him.
Everyone loves Jagr.
Players for years. Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right.
I hope he scores.
So who do you think's going to win?
I know the Kings will win.
Okay.
You know why?
How about next you have the Saturday? Wow, the Kings only play one game this week, Wednesday night.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
They probably got traveling coming up, maybe. I don't know.
No,
yeah, they got a weird schedule because the Staples Center has all those events going on all the time and stuff. So there's always time where they have one game a week, and it's weird.
Messing up their flow. So that upcoming Saturday for the 14th, they are playing the Buffalo Sabres. Who do you think is going to come out on top of there?
The Kings.
No bias in this podcast.
Calgary's had the Kings number for a little while, like the past 2-3 seasons. So, what the fuck are you shaking your head at?
We just moved on from Calgary.
I know, but I'm going back. I'm being serious now.
Okay, now, all right. So, Rob, so the Kings play the Calgary Flames.
You don't have to edit this. I'm just going back. I'm just flowing, man.
All right, bro.
Don't kill my buzz.
They have a back-to-back this weekend, Sunday night against the New York Islanders.
Rob is the Jaromir Jagr hair of this podcast. Straight flow.
Okay, so who do you want me to talk about now? The Islanders? Darcy Kemper probably started that game. It will probably most likely be his first game as a King, so I'm not sure what to expect out of him. But like I said, the Kings still have solid defense. They got a lot of young guys. I'm not sure when Alec Martinez is supposed to come back, but I mean, their defense is playing pretty solid. They beat San Jose pretty soundly. Pulled Martin Jones, so their offense is clicking pretty well. I mean, even though San Jose scored a goal on themselves, which was hilarious. That was hilarious. So that helps. But they're just playing good, solid from the home plate out. You got to start from the net and work your way out. That's how the Kings are built. That's how they'll play, and that's hopefully how they'll be carried the rest of the season is on their defense.
Jonathan Vezina quick.
Jonathan Vezina quick.
So who do you think is going to come out on top of that game?
Against the Islanders?
Yeah.
Not sure because I don't know what to expect from Darcy Kemper. So
At John Crispell.
So I kind of.
It's going to be a good one then. It's going to be a good one.
It should be a good one unless the Kings come out and dominate like I expect them to.
So the Rangers upcoming schedule this week.
Nobody cares. Move on.
Tomorrow night they play the St. Louis Blues. Man, that's going to be a tough one. I mean, let's just hope after that shutout Hank had, hopefully the team figured out like, okay, listen, guys, this is how we play hockey here, you know, and hopefully that just happens there or whatever. So hopefully that just comes out on top there, and the Rangers can get that one going. Next up, they have the Rangers don't play till Friday. After that Tuesday. So they play in Columbus against the Blue Jackets. That is going to be a tough game. Columbus has had the Rangers number recently, the most past few seasons here. And Columbus, for some reason, always injures our players because they play a hard physical game and the Rangers just whatever. So, I mean, that is going to be a tough game to watch for sure. But it'll definitely make for a good one. And then they have a back-to-back that Saturday. They are playing against the New Jersey Devils at MSG. And again, rivalry across the Hudson River there, the Rangers and the Devils. It's going to be another good game, but I think the Rangers are going to come out on top of that one against the Devils. And hopefully that's what happens. So, I expect maybe the Rangers to go 2-1 this upcoming week here.
Hershey's playing good for the Devils. Have you seen any of those highlights?
Yeah, Hershire.
Yeah,
or Hershier or
Hershey, whatever his name. I think it's
friggin' know. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Good.
It's something like that.
They said that he idolized Pavel Datsyuk growing up, and if you watch him play, he literally looks like Pavel Datsyuk Jr. the way he skates and stick handles, and
really
it's shades of Datsyuk. If you watch him play, it's insane.
Interesting.
Even the way he carries himself, like when he's skating around, it's pretty weird. So wears the same number.
Interesting.
Same position.
Interesting. I never knew that. Good little fact for today. A little fun fact. So that basically wraps it up for us this week. It's just me and Rob now. Dylan just went off into space somewhere. I'm not sure where he went.
He's prepared for the show next week. Don't worry.
He's no longer with us. So, excuse me.
Keep it rolling.
Yes, that will be edited out, maybe. All I'm not going to repeat it all because you guys know where to find us on all of the social media links, whether it be Gmail, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the iTunes Store, or even the Google Play Store for Android users. But most
around the boards.
Exactly. Search Around the Boards in any of those social media apps, and you will find us in there. Someone please send us a freaking email and let us know what we're doing wrong, or if you guys enjoy it or not. Be honest. Tell us we suck. All right, it is okay. We love criticism. This is where we agree to disagree and all that stuff,
and the other things,
and other things. But I think that's basically about it, Rob. So
I just want to do a quick shout out. VGKmafia.redbubble.com. It's Vegas Golden Knights merchandise. It's fan made, fan apparel, different things. But because of the recent events that happened in Vegas, everybody already knows about that. Anything sold on that site from now on, 100% of the proceeds will go to the victims and the victims' families and the heroes and all that other charities going on here. So if you guys want to support, you can go on there, buy some shirts, buy some stickers, whatever, or just go to the GoFundMe for the Las Vegas Victims Fund if you want to keep supporting with that stuff going on. Just want to give a quick shout out for that.
And what was the website again for that?
The VGKmafia.redbubble.com. That's for the actual apparel, stuff like that, if you want to buy some Golden Knights merchandise or something like that. But other than that, you just go on GoFundMe.com and look up the Vegas Victims Funds. There's probably multiple of them, so any one of those, just donate, help, spread the word.
Awesome. So that's it, Rob. That's all we got.
That's it.
Let's say goodbye, and we will be with you guys next week. Dylan, say goodbye. Oh, wait. He left. No,
that's the same way he says goodbye every week, so it doesn't really make a difference.
So that's it, guys. We will see you later.
See you next Tuesday.